Okay, so let's have a look. We are exactly the height of the deck. If you're a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, it's not a big deal. A little bit smaller is probably better, as long as it's not too much, because the yarn, again, is stretchy. So, or the fabric is stretchy. Okay, so now what do? We have the base. So we've built a flat piece of fabric, and now what we need to do is build the sides. So what we're going to do is go from a flat piece of fabric to essentially a tube, right? So how are we going to do that? So we're going to yarn up one, and we're going to go back across again, but this time there we go. Holy crap, my thumb looks big on the screen. I do have a big thumb. One time I went to get my nails done, and the man that was giving me the manicure said, he's a little Chinese man, he's like, "You have big thumbs." I don't think they're that big, but it certainly looks big here. All right, so this is what we're going to do. So we're not going to go right to the end, okay? Okay, so if I was just continuing to go flat, I would have 2 more stitches here, right? I'd have 1 and then 2 at the very corner. Instead, I'm just going to do 1, if I can, there we go, okay, and it almost looks like, so if you're if you're not super into crochet, this might look like it's actually the end, but you can kind of see that it sort of slants in, and that's because there actually is 1 more right at the corner. So what I want the fabric to start curling in, right? So we have, if I can show you, so we have this situation going on, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do that last one. I'm going to skip it, and I'm going to go, so I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to go into the next one, okay? Which actually is the side of the fabric, the side of that flat piece of fabric, if I can get it through, okay? Pull a little bit snugly. Now it's going to be a bit more challenging to see where to go, but basically just go into each of those holes, okay, is the easiest way to think about it. Oops, it helps if I'm in frame. Okay, now I would have 1 more, right, and I am going to do that one, and then I'll just skip the next one. All right, so I'm going to skip the next one and go into the second. Hopefully you can see this. And you can kind of see already that it's bending inwards, right? Okay. So there's not really V's here along the side. This is the side that we started with, that we did the chain with. So we're looking at the underside of the chain, but basically just choose one of the pieces of yarn to go through, right? So is this one, this one, this one. That's typically what I would do. But you do you. You can also go into the gaps. So you can kind of see there's a gap here, there's a gap here. We're going through this one right now. Oops. The way that my arms are positioned makes it really hard to do this properly. And I'm going to zoom out because I think all right, so if you are an expert crocheter or even just a better crocheter than I am, and you have a better way of doing this, I would love to hear. So let me know. I am always looking for easier, more efficient ways of doing things. You can see we're getting to our first color change here, which is kind of cool. Okay, so this is where we started, right? We started the chain, so I'm going to skip that hole right there, and instead I'm skipping that one, and instead I'm going to go into the gap beside it. So I just do a single crochet for the base, and then I'm going to change the stitch pattern to the double crochet. You could do whatever you like. The reason that I switched to double crochet is it seems to grow faster. I'm impatient. Okay, so I'm going to skip that gap right there. If you can sort of see it, well, it's actually that first V there. I'm going to skip it. No, I'm not going to skip it. That's where we started. Sorry. Yes, that's where we started. So we need to curl this one corner and then we're done. So go into there. Okay. So now we're actually starting. So you can see how it curls in at each corner, right? Okay. So I'm going to change the stitch pattern. Again, you can do what you like. So I'm going to do a double. So I do a yarn over, go through, yarn over, through. So now I have three stitches on the needles, or 3 loops. Yarn over, so I have 4. I'm going to go through 2 of them. Yarn over, 1. Okay, so let's put the yarn there. Okay, so what you're going to do is basically just repeat that around and around, and so not forever. We're going to stop when we get 2 of these completed. Okay, I'm just going to get to the end of this one side so I can show you what the fabric looks like, and you'll see that the stitch is actually different. do the yarn overs backwards, but that's okay. Okay, I'm just going to show you here. So you can see how, well, you can see the holes, right? So this is a double, it's almost twice as high as the single crochet down below, not quite as dense. And, you know, so you decide what you want to do. And basically go around, and I'll meet you back when we've got 2 rounds of these, okay? Actually, I'm back real quick because I just wanted to mention that the step that we did with, oh boy, my fingers do not want to work right now. The step that we did with that first row, once we finished the flat piece of fabric, in terms of skipping the 1 stitch in the corner, you don't want to keep doing that. That is only done, that was only done at that base row, okay? And from here on in, you are only, oops, split a stitch there. See the blue one? It's not letting me do anything. Okay, let's pull that off. Yeah, sorry, so you only want to do that on that first row where you're setting up the base of the walls, if I can put it that way. And from then on in, you're doing 1 stitch and 1 stitch. So each V you're going into, okay? And I will fast forward the rest of this. Okay, I have to speed this up a little bit because we're going out in a few minutes. So instead of doing the 2 rows, I'm just going to show you now. I think we've got enough fabric to demonstrate what you need for the body. So okay. Stick that little tail in there. All right, so if we look at this now, let me take that out. Okay. It's making a little tube. Okay. So at this point, once I have one, maybe one more, it doesn't matter. Usually 1 more, maybe 2 more. I want to check to make sure that my deck is going to fit in there, right? Right now it looks a little bit small. But one more row would have been good, or round, I guess, not row. The back side doesn't have as much, so okay. So basically you're going to put your deck in it, okay? And make sure that it fits the way you want. And what I'm going to do, if I can, I'll stop this again once I do another round or 2, although it won't be today, and then I'll show you again, okay? But that's where you want to decide whether you're happy with how it fits, whether it's snug enough, if it's too big, if it's too wide, then you know, this is kind of your opportunity to pull it out and start again. And you've only really lost about 20 minutes, but I don't count that as lost time anyways, because it's all practice. It's all, you know, it's all fun work. So, but this is where you have your first opportunity to really make sure that it's right for your project. If you get something, do I have it here? Yes, I'm going to show you another one that I did where I didn't, I actually did measure, where's the deck? So I have this one. Here's the deck. So this is one that I'm doing for the vintage Wisdom Oracle. And the yarn, I measured it properly. It's just that the yarn I'm using is a hand spun, and it's some of the earliest hand spun that I did. It's a bit thick and thin, so actually even here you can see how thick that is, and then how, oops, there we go. You can see that those are two clearly different. Well, the effect of that is that when I put the deck in, it's a little bit loose. Remember we talked about it ideally being a bit snug? Well, I don't like that. That is too loose. So I'm going to take this out and start again and make it a little bit narrower. Okay, so I will be back once I've got a little bit more of this one done, because I do want to make sure if I'm going to spend all the time to make the rest of it, I'm going to make sure it's going to be what I want, right? That's the whole point behind making your own pouches. Oops. As I was saying before, you know, if you are a better crocheter than I am and you have some ideas of how to make this better, I'm all ears. But you can do whatever you like. There's no crochet police. It's gonna come knock down your door. Knitting and crochet as well. One of the things that it's really helped me to do is to not be so hung up on perfection, because my working world is very much I have to be on, things have to be correct, or there's major consequences. So in my crafting world, I don't want that. I want something that's going to be more relaxing, something that's going to be more fun, and something that's going to allow more creativity to creep into my life. So when you make a mistake with crochet, it's super easy because you'd only be ripping out one stitch at a time. But if you discover that for some reason you made a mistake, quite far down the work, I guess you have to make the choice, right? Whether if it's going to really bother you a lot, then it's worth ripping out and fixing it. And if you can instead learn to see it as a unique what's the term? Artistic license? I don't know. Then just leave it. And you can always try to embroider something over top of it later if you want. Okay, let's have a look here. Zoom out a bit. Okay. Don't have this quite square enough. I'm so sorry. My son gets super into his game. Okay, so I'm having trouble here. But let's see here. Pardon my mess in the background. If I do this here, okay. My fingers really do not want to work. Okay. Oh, I have the knot there. I'm gonna pull out. So, in any case, I think this fits perfect. So definitely have to stretch it a little bit, right? Which is great because that's going to really show off this really well. So I'm going to continue. So just keep doing, just keep going around and around. I'm going to move that. There we go. It's just the slip knot, which I'll take out. So just keep going around and around exactly the way that we have been. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, it's because, okay. There we go. There we go. So yeah, so just keep going around and around, and I will see you again when we're farther up, and we'll show you the next step, okay?